when we're younger and we are living wholeheartedly and we're living in the present moment, we don't think about the future and that of the anxieties of its of what the future may or may not bring. As we get older, though, our fears catapult us more and more every day, if we allow them to, because from a realistic perspective, we get more fears every single day because we're taught to fear more things, whether it's a mental fear or a physical fear or a spiritual fear or an abandonment fear, monetary fear. And ultimately, it takes a very long time and a very heavy heart and a very astute brain to tune out the noise. But realistically speaking, this always had to happen, right? Getting older and experiencing what life truly is, growing outside of the bubble that you're used to growing in. On the topic of abandonment, right? At some point in our lives, we're all going to get abandoned by something or someone that we deeply care about. And maybe you can even make the argument, deeply care, the words deeply care are very underwhelming for how you can genuinely feel about someone or something or an idea. With that being said, as we get older, things will abandon us. People will abandon us. Ideas will abandon us. Maybe even insecurities will abandon us, but for better or for worse, things will abandon us. Time will abandon us. What I find in myself and most of my friends today and most of the people around me is our fear of abandonment is what drives us to do most things. How can we possibly live a happy life if that's what we want? If you want to live a happy life, how can we let the fear of abandonment lead us over? How do we start new? With something new, with a new idea, with a new business, with a new girl. How do we start new without the ideology of abandonment, without the ideology of the pain leaves behind it? Like starting up a video game after you already completed it with prior knowledge of what happens, right? Is the wonder gone? Is the allure gone? Is the allure gone? How do you tackle the second playthrough? Are you paying attention as much in the second playthrough? Applying to people in our lives too. Are you paying attention to new people that you meet after you've been abandoned by someone that you love, and after you lost your love or your first love, or whether it's a person or a thing, romantically, platonically? How do you get over that abandonment? How do you abandon after years of an excellent physique? How do you abandon that? With what time obviously does to you, right? What time does to everyone. How do you abandon that? We are allowed to change. We are allowed to restart. We're allowed to be better regardless of what anyone around us tells us. But we have to believe, like most things comes with the faith of believing. Again, Jesus Christ said, if you wish to return to the kingdom of Christ, to the kingdom of heaven, you have to return as a child. The secret is in returning as a child, right? Everything we experience that we enjoy is when we were younger. You know, remembering our parents when they were younger, our mothers being in their hands, our fathers protecting us, our first kiss, right? But as you get older, obviously, things change and emotions change and our bodies develop and our minds develop. We have to look every day with the eyes of a child. Simultaneously, the eyes of a child and the eyes of an elderly person. Only this way we'll be able to appreciate the world around us and to restart. So, let's not fear abandonment, right? Let's not fear abandonment, because if we're honest, or rather what I've seen with my own eyes is too, I've seen this fear decimate people. I've seen them give up. Sometimes the mirror even tells me that, right? And I see that in the mirror sometimes. So things can be good. They can be better than good, but it has to be understood that it has to be understood. It's going to be different from what you're used to, right? But you have to try, regardless of the magnitude of the dragon that you're fighting. You have to try, and you have to reach for new ground, and reach for new land, and keep striving, no matter how hard it can be, no matter how much your heart can't take it, because there will be days, months, and years, and maybe a lifetime of your heart not being able to take it. But we have to be above our emotions sometimes, and we have to be stronger than our emotions sometimes. We have to continue to strive for these ideals, because if we don't strive for these ideals, who will? Right? Who will strive for these ideals? Who will strive for these ideals? So, it's okay to be abandoned. We all get abandoned by people that we love, even by people that we thought would never abandon us. But there's a whole world of opportunity out there, arguably even a whole universe of opportunity out there. Do you have the courage to extend your hand first? Do you have the courage to maybe get your ass beat for doing so? Do you have the courage to die for these ideals, right? For honor, for liberty, for love. Do we have the courage to restart? After being so old, and after being so used to the way things were, do you have the heart to live every day as if it's that you're first, to experience things as if they're your first, if you can rewire your brain this way? Do you have the courage? Do you have the courage to see? To believe again? Do you have the courage to believe in something, in anything? It's possible. It's very possible. Very hard, though. Understandingly so. Understandingly so, it's very difficult. But we're reminded every day. We're able to move, and we're able to think the way that we do, And we don't have to do anything. Thankfully, because we're Americans, we don't have to do anything that we don't want to do. So take abandonment into your arms and embrace abandonment, because ideals will leave you, and your youth will leave you, people will leave you, your family might leave you, even people you thought would never leave, people that you would sacrifice everything for. You would sacrifice your mortgage, your entire house, just to see that person again and talk to them. Or maybe you would mortgage your entire house just for 10 minutes to have your youth again. Or money, or status, or reputation. The most valuable things are free. And ultimately, if you love something, one of the statements that give me the most solace is, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back to you, it's always yours. In my life, I found that I've let a lot of things go, and I returned it to them organically. People are the same way. If you love people, you showcase your love to them, because love is ultimately what we have. It's all we have at the end of the day, right? After all the money, it's all we have. And the understanding behind it, it's all we have. You showcase your love for these things, and you come back and you showcase wholeheartedly. You leave it on the table, wholeheartedly. Even if the alternate party, whether it's a thing or a person, does not reciprocate it back, you leave it on the table. You have to. There are no other ways to live. If it comes back to you, it's yours. And that should bring you solace. If it comes back to you, it's yours. You can't force love. You can't force someone into heaven. You can't force feed someone into heaven. You can't do that. Socrates even said, I can't teach anyone anything. I can guide them in the right direction, but you can't teach them anything. So, if we're able to understand these things, and it's funny because you understand them and then you forget, right? We're always forgetting things. But remember, from time to time, even if your emotions stray you differently, and even if you make mistakes, even if you believe in love, or if you don't believe in love, or if you believe in yourself, or you don't believe in yourself, right? Abandonment will happen, and it's not a pretty feeling, but if you love something, let it go. If it comes back to you, it's always yours. And if time leaves you, then maybe time was never ours to begin with. It wasn't ours to begin with. Maybe your youth was never ours to begin with. It's lended, because it is lended. But God, though, God will never leave us. If you love something, let it go. If it comes back to you, it's yours. God is ours. We are God's if we accept it. The people that we love, if we return to them, they return to us. They were eternally ours. They are eternally ours, right? And we are eternally theirs if they return to us. If I return to them, it's a very special thing. And it takes a lifetime of conversations and understanding to finally remember, to finally understand. So, embrace abandonment and leave it on the floor. Leave it all on the table. All of it. Ideas, personality. Leave your entire personality on the table for everyone to see. Your intelligence, your colors, your subtleties, your nuances. Leave it all on the table. Because those are the things that can never abandon you. If you don't give in to the poison, and if you don't give in to the cancer of what it is to have your personality stripped away from you. So leave it all on the table. It's possible to live like a child again, even if you're 85. It's possible to dream as a child, to envision in color for once, to go against the rules. Take your time. Gas pedal though, but take your time. And ultimately, the people that do leave us, and the ideas that do leave us, they're still in our hearts. We can't remember sometimes. We can't remember these special moments we shared with people, or even our ancestors. I think about what they had to go through for me to be me, right? I look at my eyelashes and my eyebrows and I wonder, where did I get this from? How many generations ago? Where did I get this from? You could be asking yourself the same question. But we were the people that we love in our hearts. Like a medallion, like an invisible medallion we don't ever take off. And everyone that we do love is everyone that we do love intertwines with our personality, our character. And that will never abandon us. That can never abandon us. So, put your hand out, go the distance in every single situation that you can, and leave your personality on the table, because abandonment will come. But before abandonment can abandon us, maybe we should be the ones to abandon abandonment. Forget about it. So hung up on people that we once loved, family that we loved, and whether in a different world it would have worked out. But it didn't. So let's take what we love from those people and move forward. And remember their virtue and their honor and their beauty. Because it's rare to find sincere beauty in the world. Today, yesterday, 50 years ago, it was always rare. And humans, I believe, at least. So, go the distance and abandon the abandonment. Don't let it harm you. Don't let it change you for the worse. You can't. So, have the eyes of a child, and maybe we'll change. Vamos con todo. Dale, suerte, che.